Right, you may have seen some anime-style pictures circulating the internet recently, all thanks to a new tool on OpenAI's ChatGPT. Now, this one lets users generate images in Studio Ghibli's iconic hand-drawn visuals, similar to those seen in Hayao Miyazaki's Spirited Away, what a film, and My Neighbor Totoro movies. Well, of course, I naturally was curious about it too.
After the avalanche of updates and information this week, I couldn't help but wonder. What will art become now? Am I cheating if I adapt to the system? Haven't I already done that by transitioning from traditional to digital art? Will artists still exist the way we know them?
Is going wild over advancements in artificial intelligence image generation. OpenAI says its new 4.0 image generator
Is AI-generated art still art?
Precisely following prompts and can transform uploaded images or use them as visual inspiration.
Is it legal?
Users are flooding platforms with their own AI.
Can I use other artist references to generate my art? Do we have laws for that?
Even got in on the trend, Ghiblifying his profile picture on X.
Hi everyone, I am Drigo and I make videos based on my journals and share here talking about creativity and content creation. And this week, my mind was flooded with thoughts and ideas and excitement and uncertainty about all the news concerning AI-generated images. That made me believe that we are on the verge of a no going back situation. We're literally in a moment of history that there's no return. And if someone that doesn't make a living from my art was impacted by that change in that and those information, imagine those who make living out of their artistic lifestyle. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Before we dive in, let me introduce myself properly. I'm an artist, but I don't rely on my art for income. Sure, I've been paid for commissions or projects supporting major causes, but for me, art is primarily a form of self-expression. I use it to make people feel special, gifting illustrations for celebration, sketching app interfaces, drafting thumbnails for YouTube, or creating character designs for stories I write. Yes, I write. But that's a topic for another video. Ever since I was a kid, I've illustrated, and I've definitely improved over the years. My sketches have evolved into a more animated personal style. I spent years searching for a unique style until I realized I had already found it. It wasn't a conventional style, but one I felt comfortable creating. My art was the result of deliberate choices, techniques, methods, challenges, colors, brushes. In essence, my style was shaped by my creative decisions. And who can question that when artistic style is inherently subjective? Key was consistency, applying my method to various creative ideas and projects. Well, artists once dismissed photographers as real arts, but over time, new perspectives and new techniques and methods and approaches and metrics they came up to understand that as a piece of art as well. And that makes me wonder, will it also happen with AI art? Like, AI generated art? Will there be a metric to define if this is art or not? And this isn't the first time this happened. Like a good millennial, I have seen the pattern before. When Netflix replaced DVDs in rental stores, when Uber or Lyft disrupted taxi services, when the Luddites rebel against industrial machines replacing factory jobs, when photography emerged and painters felt threatened. Artists once dismissed photography as not real art, but over time, new styles and techniques emerged, shifting perspectives. Could the same happen with AI-generated art? And talking about the photographers and the relationship with the painters and artists and how photography reshaped its format to be understood as art, there's an article in the description that I left here that I used as base and source for this video. It's a very good article about this topic on how photography once was not understood as a piece of art and then evolved to become one. And if you want to learn or understand more about this, I think it's very important to get some sort of familiarity with that and also draw some parallels. Also, before we move forward with the video, I just would love to ask you to just click here in the button that says like. It's a small action from you, but also a huge impact for a small creator like me. It motivates me to create more and more, and I'd love to see this feedback. If you also want to leave some criticism, feedback, thoughts, reflections, anything you would like to discuss about, please leave it in the comments. I'm responding to the comments as well. And consider subscribing, joining into the community by clicking the subscribe button. And we're going to be all part of the same fam. Because in the club, we are all fam. Now, I can't help but wonder. And those are questions that I generally would like to have a feedback for people here watching, especially you that make art, that live from your art, and you just stopping by in this video. I also would like to hear your feedback, because those questions, they won't seem to leave my head until we have a final and clear understanding of how things are going to go to, or in which directions we're heading to. Number one, is there a way back from this? Or we're just moving forward with this? It's a no going back route. Secondly, how do artists unite and adapt to a situation like that? What are the regulations to protect art? Because Studio Ghibli was all over the internet, and I'm pretty sure that they were not happy with that. They were having their copyrighted images and characters and style and line and art line all over the internet without their consent. But they are not the only ones. A lot of other artists are subjected to the same. And I'm totally not here to create any anger, or how can I put that in words? I'm not here to create any hate to this. I'm trying to literally understand and come up with a solution that will protect artists, but also leverage and also make sure they are using AI in a way that will help them and not make them afraid of putting their art out there. So how do we unite in terms of this? And how do we adapt to this new world? Thirdly, will AI-generated content coexist with the current art forms and styles we already know? Or will it actually replace it? Because when photography started, people thought this is going to take over. Painters still existed. Art still exists in the oldest form possible. There are multiple mediums to represent art out there. Will AI just become one of them? And the fourth question I have is basically, what new artistic jobs are going to arise from the situation? How will impact of lives of those who make their living from their art? How can they adapt to this new world? And what are the new positions in companies? What are the new jobs they can apply to moving forward or starts getting specialized on? And then most importantly, what are the metrics, right, that will define AI generated content as art? I can't help but wonder, what are going to be the requirements, the methods, the techniques we're going to evaluate to understand this is art? This can be considered as art. Is this by the context? Is this by the references used? Is this by the composition overall? Is this by the way the prompt engineer use the words, the combination of words and references to generate an idea, generate an art form? or tell a story, what are the metrics if it ever becomes art, right? Because photography was able to. Nowadays, we know there's a whole thing with lights, shade, with all the features you can use in a camera and everything you can use to make a photography looks great, cinematic, or in a certain style, or to tell a different story. So photography became an art, but in essence, when it started, it was so disruptive that it wasn't even considered, was rejected, was dismissed. Is this something that is happening again? I have already flirted with turning my art into business, but for some reasons, I always held myself back from doing this. First, because I thought I would get sick of it. And art for me was always a way of expressing, of feeling an emotion, a way to gift people with something special. And also because of time, because when you create artistic assets for business models, you have to do a large scale creation. There's a certain level of protocols and procedures, almost like an industrialization of your art, that you lose a little bit of the essence of it. And nothing against it. A lot of people live out of their art, and I think that this is beautiful. I just didn't have the time. I thought I would get sick of it, and maybe just fear of starting doing it. I have put a lot of things out there, but not officially made a business out of that, right? I've always flirted with this idea, but always felt like those constraints and those things holding me back. Because I think illustration for me is my escape. As cheesy and romantic and positive and, I don't know, nice this could sound, illustration for me was always a way to escape even the chaos of my own mind. Because in my case, there's a place my head goes when I am illustrating, when I'm creating, when I'm putting things out there. And it's a place that nothing else brings me there. So when I'm illustrating, it's all about no stress, no deadlines, no expectations, just putting a vision into a paper and watching the process unfold with my fingers. And it just calms me down. The action, the process of doing it. If I generated all of that in a prompt, which is beautiful, I can bring my vision to life. But if for me the process is what I use as a coping mechanism, the beauty of it all goes down the drain because I'm taking this essential part, right? The creative process, the choices I make in order to turn that idea into a real thing. Or maybe I can still make those choices with prompt engineering, with text. I don't know, it's just hard to tell. Well, AI has inserted a major dilemma in my head. Would I be betraying my fellow artists if I train an AI model to replicate my own art style? What do you think? It's just a way that I think it wouldn't be as bad if I just use my own things to generate my own things. If I study my own art and train an AI model and generate more images. Is that a bad thing? Well, I train a model with my own illustrations to replicate my style for my video thumbnail. Here's what I did. I provided 3 examples of my illustrations, and I asked AI to describe the style, techniques, and methods. I fed it more samples for deep analysis, and then gave its own descriptions and asked it to apply my style to a new image. The result? Well, this is the result, the thumbnail cover in my style, which is probably the thumbnail that I'm gonna use for this video as well. But it raises even more questions. People have already been using AI to replicate other artists' styles, but what if it's my own art? Does that make it better or worse? How can I protect my style so that only I have the rights to generate it? Or am I opening the door for others to steal my artistic identity? Well, I'd love to hear your thoughts about this topic, and I love to discuss this kind of topics because those are things that are happening right now, and we have to sit down and debate and discuss it and understand it and apply new methods and be on alert. We can't simply be scared and run away. We have to confront it. We have to look that in the face and say, what are you here for? So because of that, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your opinions about that. If you also like content related to creativity, free writing, storytelling, the journey of content creation, and life and reflections on creative and artistic dilemmas like this one, feel free to join this community and subscribe to the channel, leave a like and comment, and come back for the next video. I'd love to see you more and more here and continue this conversation with you. Hi everyone, I hope you really liked this video. It's been very rewarding seeing the feedback from the other videos as well. Thank you so much for everyone who's here. I try to respond to everyone as much as I can. If you are here and you don't know that, I work full-time, so I do content creation on the side, and because of that I have a limited time to create. The time I have, I normally try to make sure I do all of the processes, which is script writing, editing, making the videos, and compose all the videos you see the results of. It's very good to see the feedback. This past week I was a bit sick, so the video delayed a little bit. Also, I was working on an extra side gig, so because of those things, the video came out a little bit later. But I'm gonna try to keep on a better pace, and moving forward I want to also start a new playlist in which we're gonna have more conversational videos like this. And if you like this idea, let me know. I see you in the next video. Bye.